everyone, in this video I am going to show you how to make this cute little reindeer treat bag, and if you would like, there is a written pattern linked below. So for this reindeer pouch you are going to need white, some sort of tan or beige, brown, and some sort of red, and a little bit of polyfill for the antlers, and for the eyes you will want these 6mm safety eyes with the backings. And the hook sizes we are going to use is a G 4.0mm and an H 5.0mm. So to begin, we are going to use our H hook and our brown yarn to do the pouch portion first. So we're going to start with the magic ring, chain up 2, 1, 2, and we are going to make 10 half double crochets in the ring. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, and pull through all 3, and that makes a half double crochet. So we are going to make 10. So 9 and 10. With this tail end, we'll pull it tight to close up the ring. So now we're going to join to the first half double crochet. That first chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So chain up 2, and then for the second row we will do 2 half double crochets in each stitch around. So go ahead and do 2 half double crochets in each stitch around, and we will meet back here for round 3. So at the end of round 2, join to the first half double crochet and then chain up 2 to start round 3. For round 3 we will do a half double crochet in the first stitch, and then in the next stitch we will do 2 half double crochets. And that is going to be the pattern we are going to repeat all the way around. So essentially we are increasing in every other stitch. So we have 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochets, next will be 1 half double crochet, and then in the next stitch 2 half double crochets. And we are just going to repeat that all the way around until we get to the beginning. So go ahead and repeat that 1 half double crochet, then 2 half double crochets all the way around, and then I'll meet you back here to end the round and to do the next round. So once you get to the end of the round, you should have ended with 2 half double crochets in that last stitch. Go ahead and join to the first half double crochet. To move on to round 4, we will do 2 chains. And for round 4, we are just going to half double crochet all the way around, and same with rounds 5 through 17. So rounds 4 through 17, all we will be doing is half double crocheting all the way around, joining to that first half double crochet, chaining up 2, and then half double crochet around. So go ahead and do your half double crochets all the way around for rows 4 through 17. Once you get to the end of round 17, you will join to the first half double crochet and then fasten off. And I had just enough yarn to complete that. So you don't need to leave a long tail. We'll just weave this in within the pouch when we're done. So your pouch should look something like this. It might seem a little longer than it should be, but this base will sit flat once you put candy or whatever you want into here, and plus it will cinch at the top. So next we will work on the ears. We will be using the same color but a different hook. So we are using a 4.0mm hook or a G hook to do the ears. So we're going to start with a magic ring, we're going to chain 1 and do 4 single crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to pull the tail tight, and we're going to join to the first single crochet. It's going to get a little tight, but you'll be able to do it. So here's my first single crochet. I'm just going to go over here, insert my hook, and then slip stitch. For the second round, we're going to chain up 1, do 1 single crochet. I'm sorry, we're going to do 2 single crochets into that first stitch. The next one, we're going to do 1 single crochet. And the next, we're going to do 2 single crochets. And then in the last stitch, we will do 1 single crochet. And then we're going to join to the first single crochet of the round. There is a spot here. It might look like a stitch, but it's actually not. It's just when we joined, this chain here kind of stretches over, so it might look like a stitch, but really it's just where the join is. So here is our first single crochet over here. Sorry, that's a little dark. But our first single crochet is here. So go ahead and join there. And then if you look back, you will see where we joined. Since it's a little tight, it kind of hooks over and stretches over, so it looks like a stitch, but it's actually not. So for the third row, chain up 1. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch. 1, 2, and then a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to repeat that. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And that should bring us around to the beginning. So join to the first single crochet, and then for rounds 4 through 6 we will do a single crochet in each round. So go ahead and do rows 4 through 6. We are just single crocheting all the way around, joining to that first single crochet, chaining 1, and then single crocheting around again. So once you have joined after the 6th row, you can just fasten off and leave a bit of a tail, because we will be sewing this onto the pouch. So go ahead and make 2 of these ears. For the eyes, we will use our white yarn and the G or 4.0 millimeter hook. And we will start with a magic ring, chain up 1, and do 10 single crochets into the ring. Once you have 10 single crochets, go ahead and pull that tail tight to close up the ring. Join to the first single crochet, chain up 1, make 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then in the next stitch 2 single crochets. So that will be the pattern to repeat all the way around. So 2 single crochets in one stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So go ahead and repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet back here. So once you get to the end of the round, go ahead and join to the first single crochet, fasten off, cut off a bit of a tail so you could sew onto the pouch, and then we will use our safety eyes to put into the center. So grab your safety eye, make sure that center is pretty tight so this will fit in without falling right through. So we'll just push that through the center and then use our backing so that will be our eye. Make 2 of those and then we will sew them onto the pouch. Make the antlers, we're going to need our tan or beige color with our 4.0 millimeter hook. And we are going to start with a magic ring, chain up 1, make 8 single crochets into the ring, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab your tail, pull it tight, join to the first single crochet, chain up 1, and now for rounds 2 through 11, all we're going to do is single crochet a round. So once you get to the end, you will join to the first single crochet, and that was round 2. So go ahead and do the same exact thing until you have 11 rows total. So chain up 1, single crochet around, join to the first single crochet, and keep repeating that until you have 11 rounds done. Once you've done all the rows, you should have 11 rows total. Go ahead, join to the first single crochet and fasten off. Leave somewhat of a tail to sew on to the pouch. So this is the longer piece of the antler. We will be making a little piece to sew onto here. So grab the same colored yarn and your 4.0 millimeter hook. Make a magic ring, chain 1, and make 6 single crochets into the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull it tight, and then join to the first single crochet of the round. Chain 1, and for rounds 2 through 5 they're going to be the same. We're just going to single crochet all the way around, and that will give you 6 single crochets in the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Join to the first single crochet. So go ahead and repeat that until you have 5 rounds total. So once you have your 5 rounds and you join to the first single crochet, go ahead and fasten off and leave a tail because we will be sewing this onto the longer portion of the antler. So this is my tail end. I'm just going to stuff it in here. You can put a little bit of stuffing in the shorter end. I find that it's not really necessary since it's so tiny. But we will be sewing this onto the larger part of the antler. So you'll need a tapestry needle or a yarn needle. Take your little piece, thread the tail end, and then we will sew this starting from the tip, count 3 or 4 down, and that is where we will sew on the smaller portion of the antler. So I just pick up the stitches from the bottom antler and go through the bottom stitches here, and I'll just keep doing that around, and I'll reposition it just to make sure it's in the right spot. So once you have that sewn on, just go through a couple stitches, make a knot, and then you can just go through here and then just cut that piece off. And then you can take your stuffing. You'll need barely any, just to stuff this bigger portion of the antler. And like I said, you can stuff the little portion if you want. I didn't find it necessary since it was so little. It helps to use the end of your crochet hook to really get everything down. So there's your antler. That's just one, so you will need to do another large part, another small part, and then sew them together to get 2 antlers. Using a red yarn. This is like more of a cranberry yarn. You can use whatever kind of red you want, or a black if you would like your reindeer to have a black nose. So start with a magic ring, chain up 1, and do 8 single crochets in the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pull the tail end tight, and then join to the first single crochet, chain up 1, do a single crochet in the next 2, 1 single crochet, and the next stitch gets another single crochet, and then in the next stitch make 2 half double crochets. 1, 2, and the next stitch also gets 2 half double crochets. 1, 2, and then in the next 2 stitches we will do 1 single crochet each. And then in the last 2 stitches we will do 2 half double crochets in each of those stitches. And then join to the first single crochet, and then you can fasten off and leave a tail so we could sew onto the pouch. There's your nose. Now we have our pouch and a bunch of little things to sew on. So I'm going to start with the antlers. We will be using a tapestry needle to sew this on. So thread the tail end. And we are going to sew the antlers. So this little guy is sticking up, and we will sew it about 1 row down. So I guess you could say on to 2nd and 3rd row if you're counting from the top down. So we'll sew them about here. So I'm just picking up the stitches from the pouch and then the top stitches from the antler and pulling through. And I'm just going to do that all the way around. So once you have your antler on, go ahead and knot it to secure it. And then you can just go through like the bottom of the antler to the top. So then you don't really have to worry about the ends. You would just clip this off here. So go ahead and sew your other antler on to the other side. So just lay it flat to make sure it's even. And I have the seam running down the back, if you can see it. Here's the seam. So I want the seam on the back. So go ahead and sew your antlers on. So now that you have your antlers sewed on, we will do the ears next. So the ears are pretty easy. All we are going to do is thread the end, and then wherever your antlers are, just count down one row. So leave one row between the antlers and the ears. And go ahead and sew them on the same way you did the antlers. And then make a knot. And just like the antlers, you can kind of go through the middle so you don't have to worry about ends, and just cut it off on the top there. So go ahead and sew on your other ear, and then next we will do the eyes. So once you have your ears on, we are going to sew on the eyes. So you can see here's the seam. So I am going to sew the eyes on the front, so you can't really see the seam. So counting from the top, we are going to count 5 rows down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our eyes are going to sit from the 5th to the 8th row down here somewhere. Basically, they'll be next to the ears. So there's 2 different ways you can sew the eyes on. You can pick up the top stitches from the pouch like I did with the antlers and the ears, or you can just go back and forth. I find that a little easier, and I think it makes the eyes a little cleaner. So I will just go back and forth through the pouch. And if you look inside the pouch, you will be able to see it, but no one's going to look in there. So this is one option you can do. If you do want to pick up the top stitches, that's totally fine too, and you can make it look clean, but I just find this a lot easier and quicker. So go ahead and sew your eyes on, and then we will do the nose. Now that you have your eyes on, all we need to sew on is the nose. So same way we sewed the eyes, leave about 1 row down, and then sew on your nose. So once you have everything sewed on, the last thing you will need to do is make some sort of string to loop in and out of the top half double crochet stitches. I cut about 18 inches of brown, tan, and white yarn. I knotted one end, and then I braided it, and then I knotted the other end, and now I'm just weaving that braided chain in and out of the top half double crochets with a crochet hook. So when I started weaving in the string, I started in the middle of the back, so then when I end it, it will end at the middle of the back, and then that way I can cinch it and tie the bow on the back of the reindeer. So once you've pulled the string all the way around, your project is finished. Now you will just need to fill it with whatever you want to fill it with. If you have any questions about this project, please let me know in the comments below and I will try to answer them. And thank you so much for watching this video.